Hello everybody, welcome to Bellingcat Live on Twitch and YouTube. My name is Giancarlo Fiorella. I am a researcher and a trainer here at Bellingcat. I do these streams once a week today at this time, so thank you for being here. If this is your first time joining us on one of these streams, welcome. And if it's not your first time, also welcome. It is really good to see you. Thank you, Bad Mother Gamer, for following the channel. Thank you very much. If you want to support the stream, obviously the best way to do it is by following the channel and by saying hello in the chat. I see Lord Char is here. Hello, Lord Char. Good afternoon. Friends, my featured chat is working. I think it's working, so let me see if I can put that up here. Let's see if this works. Is this going to work? Let me see here. 1 second. Oh, did I? Okay, so it's not working. All right, that is okay. No, that's not okay. It shouldn't be okay. Anyways, hi. Thanks for coming. Cyberhuat is here. Hello, Cyberhuat. Always good to see you. Subtle Knife is here, moderator of the Discord server. Also, Arnero DS, bom dia to you, good sir or madam. Thank you for joining the stream. Milkmaid of Doom, hi. Chris Osik is saying it is extremely hot again in Amsterdam. Yes, it is. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Suntob is here. Slow T is here. Hello, Slow T. Good to see you also. So again, folks, welcome to the stream. I am very happy to be here with you today. We're going to be hanging out for about an hour and a half. I will begin by talking about research that's happened at Bellingcat with a special guest who is waiting in the green room right here in the Bellingcat Hype House, which is located deep underground at an undisclosed location. That's right, we have a special guest who will be coming on in just a few minutes to talk about some research that they've done recently. We'll do that for about half an hour. We'll just chat because aside from being colleagues, we are friends. So you're going to get to see us interacting and laughing and sharing stories and just being best buds. Again, this is with a special guest who I will introduce in a minute. After that, I'll talk about some open source tools, or let's say news developments from the open source community. I'll do that for about half an hour. And then at the end of the stream, towards the last half hour of the stream, we'll be playing Geoguessr. So if you want to play Geoguessr with me and with the chat, make sure that you have an account. You can go to geoguessr.com, set that up. And again, that will happen in the last half hour of the stream. Before I introduce a guest, I want to check the chat here. We've got Catmic saying, hello, everybody. Or rather, hey, everybody. No, that's not what they said. Hang on, let me try that again. They said, hey, everyone, is what they said. This is catmake _. So hi, catmake _. Hey to you as well. We have C. Cheatham saying, good morning from the United States. Good morning. Thank you for coming to the stream. We have Erides here, longtime friend of Bellingcat via our Discord server, which I'll talk a lot about today. Hello, Erides. We got Vani XX saying, hello there. Hi, Vani XX. Thank you so much for coming. There's a link to the Discord there in the chat via Erides. Thank you very much. So again, welcome to the stream. We're going to be here for about an hour and a half. I'm going to introduce our guest in a minute. I just want to say right off the bat, last week, if you were here, you saw me essentially have something like a medical episode, given the fact that it's extremely hot. It was extremely hot in Amsterdam last Wednesday. It is also pretty hot today as well. Yeah, I felt my brain kind of slowing down. I was sweating profusely, uncontrollably. I had a towel, which I have here with me this week as well. And I just want to say thanks to everybody. I had a lot of people slide into my DMs, emailing me, calling me, telling me about the dangers of heat stroke and the dangers of exposing myself to high temperatures for a prolonged period of time. So I just want to say thanks to everybody for your concern. I do have more water with me today. I have a cup here. I got some water here as well. I do have my towel. It's on my lap here. I will get increasingly sweaty, I suspect, as the stream goes on, but it's perfectly fine. I don't have space to put a fan. I'm in a very small room right now, and the physics of it just wouldn't work, folks. There's no place for me to really put a fan in a way that won't be disruptive to our operation here. And so I am foregoing a fan. I realize that's a risk. That's a decision that I've made. And so I do have water, I do have lots of water, and I do have my towels. So again, thank you to everybody who called, emailed, visited me, and was concerned about my exposure to heat. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Erida says it's only 23 degrees in Amsterdam right now, but if the room gets hot, yes, the room does get hot because I have a computer and it's pumping extremely hot air into this room all the time. And I also have this big ring light that I feel like is adding a lot of heat as well. Not a problem. Let's move on to our first guest, who I'm going to put up on the screen right now. I said our first guest, really our only guest, because we only ever have one guest on. So our guest today is, let's reveal the guest. It is none other than Aiganysh Aidarbekova, my colleague, a researcher and trainer at Bellingcat. Hello, Aiganysh. How are you?
Hey, everybody. All good. Also a little bit sweaty.
A little bit sweaty as well, because you're also in Europe, let's say, and it's also hot where you are.
Yeah, it's also hot, and outside it's a little bit chiller, but I cannot really open the windows because me and my boyfriend have like terrible allergies.
Oh boy!
So it's this trade-off,
You cannot win. So I'm in the same situation. I mean, similar situation. I don't have allergies, but if I open my window, it's very loud outside, so I just can't deal with the noise. Anyways, that's fine. I was born in Venezuela and I grew up there. Venezuela is a tropical country, so I feel like I'm okay with heat. What about you? Do you feel like you're kind of okay with heat, or do you prefer colder climates?
I think I'm okay-ish with this because I'm from Kyrgyzstan, and in the summer temperature can go up to 35 degrees, but I'm not used to humidity, so because it's very dry in Kyrgyzstan. So I feel like in the end, if it's like 25 degrees in Europe, but it's humid, then it can feel almost the same as 35. So not very used to that.
Yeah, it's deceptive. If you just look at the temperature, it's a deceptive measure because you got to factor in the humidity plus being in a room with lights or whatever on the computer. Yeah, it gets hot. We got somebody here in the chat saying, Aiganysh rocks. Way to go with this guest. So you have a fan in the chat there. It is Siang on Twitch. So Siang on Twitch. Oh, no, sorry. Slang on Twitch says Aiganysh rocks. So you have a fan in the chat there, Aiganysh. Thank you, Slang on Twitch, for that comment. We also have Michael Colborn here. Aiganysh, our colleague Michael Colborn's in the chat. He's cheering us on. We've got Jake Godin, who you know from Newsy. He's here as well. Charlotte is here also. Everybody's here. It's a party in...
wow.
Yeah, everybody's here. It's awesome. It's so much fun.
Okay, I'm getting nervous then.
No, don't be nervous because we need to talk about your research project that you worked on, Aiganysh. And actually, we talked about it last week in last week's stream. But now we have you here so you can talk to us about what it was actually like to conduct this project, which was on the mapping, the aftermath of the Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan border clashes. So I'll tell you really quickly, Aiganysh, that when I was talking about this last week, I did a very sort of, I would say, superficial introduction to both the context of the article and as well as the research. I showed the map that you guys built, and I talked a little bit about the NASA FIRM satellite. I think we tried to pull it up on the screen, and it wasn't working. But I sort of explained how the project was conducted. But now that you're here, maybe I can ask you a couple of questions about what it was like to do this, since you're the one who conducted it. Maybe I can ask you to begin with, how long did it take you to do this from sort of inception to it being published?
So it depends on where we start. So the conflict itself started in September. Mm-hmm. And I was on holiday at the time, and I decided I'm not going to work on the war crimes or anything connected to war during my holiday. And it also like emotionally really affected me. So I took like a week of not doing that, and then a week later I actually started like archiving everything and geolocating. And we was working on and off since September. How many was that?
So from September,
Yeah, almost 6 months. Yeah.
Almost 6 months from the moment that it began, as you were saying, to May 25th, which is about a month ago, which is when you published it. So yeah, thanks for that. I think it speaks to a couple of things. So at Bellingcat, we don't work on clicks. I think I say this a lot on the stream. So we're really lucky as researchers here, right, Aiganysh? Because we can spend a lot of time working on one project, and that's perfectly fine. And this is the kind of work that really requires a lot of concentration and effort over the long term. You talked about having to take some time off from the project as well, because you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, it wasn't 6 months. I think I've counted 8 now, so no idea. But yeah, it was a very long project. And yeah, one thing also about Bellingcat is that we do multiple projects at once, so that's also the reason why it takes longer. And about the mental side, so yeah, the first week I knew that there were like people like killed, yeah, lots of horrible stories from there. So I decided to like fully immerse in the holiday mode, and then I will start working on it. And in the middle of it, I didn't have how to say that. I didn't have a lot of this secondhand trauma from this research, just because I was mainly looking at the burned houses. I wasn't really looking at there wasn't that much of a footage of actually like people, like dead people. So, but eventually I got a nightmare on the, yeah, I basically had a nightmare where I was also in that conflict zone, and I could see like all of those burned houses, burned villages, and I also saw, like in my dream, like burned corpses, something that I didn't see in the real footage. Maybe once, but it was quite similar. So yeah, the thing that I did, I straight went to the therapist that we have connections at Bellingcat, and to Brock, and Brock basically explained to me that, yep, this can be the second-hand trauma. I think it's called visceral. Do you remember the right name?
Yeah, vicarious trauma, yeah.
Vicarious trauma, yes. And then he basically explained that, yep, even though that you haven't seen that like very like awful content, your like our brain, it still will fill in the gaps, and yeah, will do the things. So I was like, whoop. Okay, I took a few days off. He told me to basically have a little bit time off and then go back to it again. I did that. I started working better in the sense of that I started resting better. I told myself not to work overtime, because I'd often go into these zones where I'm most productive at 11 p.m. till 2 a.m. And I stopped doing that, and it got much better.
Okay. Yeah, well, thanks for sharing that. Yeah, I guess I should say for folks who are listening, first of all, if you have any questions about anything that we're talking about here, please feel free to put them in the chat. I will read them out loud, and we will try to answer them to the best of our abilities. So first of all, thanks for sharing that, Aiganysh. I can tell you that I think everybody who's worked at Bellingcat or who works in this sort of field has run into situations where, yeah, you're either having dreams about the work that you're doing, or you're sort of focusing on it too much in a way that maybe isn't helpful. So at Bellingcat, we're really lucky because we have access to Trauma Treatment International, which is an organization that provides trauma treatment to individuals like ourselves who are working with potentially traumatic content. So it's great to hear, Aiganysh, that you're able to take advantage of that, and that you were able to speak to a mental health professional who was, it sounds like, able to give you some advice that you're able to then implement and help you finish this project. I often think my own experience is that whenever I'm like fixated on a topic, if it's something that's distressing, I feel like I have to do it because no one else is doing it. Like I have a responsibility. I almost feel guilty and I have to kind of work harder, but then I always end up burning out. And I think it's important to realize, as I have over time, that it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, right? So you can go hard and do that for 2 weeks and then you're burnt out and then you're not helping anybody, or you can kind of take it easy, learn to go slow, and then you can go further. So really, again, thank you for sharing that, Aiganysh. I wonder if you can talk a little bit about what it was like to work with members of the Global Authentication Project, because as I, pardon me, mentioned last week, and as I saw at the bottom here, it says here, that you worked with the Global Authentication Project, which is, of course, our official volunteer network. And I'm going to put a link in the chat here to the Twitter account of the Global Authentication Project. So these are volunteers who have been formally onboarded at Bellingcat, and they helped you with this project. Can you tell us, Aiganysh, what it was like to work with them?
Oh, it's always amazing to work with Gap. Big shout out to Slang from Foxtrot. Slang is here. And yeah, so how this works is that whenever I have a research idea, and that requires like a lot of manual work, and in this case there was like lots of photos and videos to geolocate, I basically go to Hannah, who is the Gap coordinator, and then she basically gets the volunteers who are interested in it. And it's always honestly great, because I've tried doing the same research a few years ago when there was another big conflict in again between Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan, but there was a long working in there, and like I never finished the project because it was just too much work. And so in this way, working with Gap is great, working with Hannah is great, and yeah, I think when working with this kind of material, it's always nice to have people to talk to. And oh yeah, one more thing is we also tried to get two Kyrgyz volunteers actually from from Kyrgyzstan, but it didn't really work out well. I guess that's actually logical. Whenever you get like some volunteers, some of them will, since like this volunteer work is not paid, so yeah, volunteers will have other things to do and leave the project. So for the next project, I'm thinking that we should get probably 10 local ones, and 2 of them will probably stay. So yeah, that's my takeaway.
That's cool. Yeah. So thanks for sharing that, Aiganysh. So shout out again to Slang and Foxtrot for all the hard work on this. And as you said, hey, we tried to get other volunteers, but of course we fully understand. I've done volunteer work in the past as well. I'm sure you have as well too, Aiganysh. It's volunteer, right? So you do it if you can, and if it turns out that you can't do it, well, you got to prioritize other stuff. That's fully understandable.
Of course.
We have a couple questions here and comments in the chat. So we've got Chris talking about our earlier points on sort of mental health and rushing to be the first one to discover something. Chris, who's very active in our Discord server and has collaborated with a number of media organizations, including CNN, Al Jazeera, and the Washington Post. Chris says that he recently learned to take a breathing pause and take it slowly. Yes, you will burn out. And you know what? I started doing this work about a decade ago when I was much younger and had a lot more, I don't know, energy, motivation in general, etc. And I feel like when I was younger, I was able to kind of go harder. But now I just kind of want to find a hammock somewhere and just like drink iced tea and just, kind of really take it easy. So I've learned that over time. I'm glad to hear that you've learned it as well. Chris, we have a question here. We have a comment here, first of all, from AJ, BAJ. That person says, Aiganysh, thank you for your excellent work. That's a comment for you there, Aiganysh. Really well done. And we have a question here from Sun2B. Sun2B's asking, Aiganysh, how did you structure your investigation? I mean, what were the general steps that you took to do this project?
And yeah, that's a great question. And structuring is extremely important, and I learned it the hard way. When in 2021, basically there was another big conflict between Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan. It was the biggest at that time, before the most recent one. And at that time, what I started doing is I started by geolocating first. I would find a material, I try to geolocate it. And then later I realized that the content is keeping coming in, and I didn't archive everything. So some content is getting deleted, blah, blah. And that's how my first project fell in 2021. So with this one, when these new things happened, I was like, oops, I know the first thing I need to do is actually archive. So we set up an auto archiver. I basically searched for all Telegram channels that were posted on Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan was on Tajik and Kyrgyz. So I would find the links that had any photos, videos related. I saved it all, and then we shared it with Gap volunteers, and together we started geolocating. And once it was more or less geolocated, I'd say at least half of it was geolocated, because of course the there's lots of content you cannot really geolocate at all. We started, so after we reached the half point, we started thinking about how we want to present it. And at that point, I started talking actively with the editor. So the editors from the beginning, they knew that I pitched the idea and they were interested in, but after this, like half of the post's point, we started actively talking on how we should present it and what's the best way. And in that case, we decided that solely focusing on social media might not be the best idea, just because Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan, they are two very different countries when it comes to free speech. And because in Kyrgyzstan, like people will go there, will take photos of these burned houses or of the military activities, etc., and they'll just upload it, okay? And there'll be like lots of bloggers or lots of journalists who go there and then actively like collect all of the stuff and post it out there. But in Tajikistan, it's very, very difficult to post anything. So first of all, internet usage is very low. The government specifically blocks the internet speed, so it takes like forever to upload a video. And also, if you upload something and the government doesn't like it, you might get prosecuted, or there might be very like bad consequences. So that's why we had this disproportionate information. We had much more like photos and videos that has shown the like damage in Kyrgyzstan, the houses, the villages that were burned in Kyrgyzstan, but not as much footage from Tajikistan. Of course, that could be because it's just the Kyrgyz villages got affected more, but we also didn't want to take this chance and wanted to make it more like as objective as we can. So that's why we decided to focus a lot on the satellite imagery and compare basically the before and after satellite images. So as Giancarlo showing, you can click on the map and you'll see like how the village looked before conflict and after conflict, and you'll see that basically most of this village most of the village just disappeared. And that was like a great objective way. So once we decided how we wanted to a map, we got on board Miguel, who is our colleague from tech team who built the map. And with him, we started brainstorming the ideas. What's the best way to showcase what we want to showcase? And he suggested greatly that we could upload it before and after image and all the tiny details. And if you've used the map, you can see that you cannot directly just click on the map and it will show you satellite imagery. You have to actually download it. And this was also it also required a lot of not discussion but a lot of thinking, because this like the whole map, if everything would be downloaded right away, would weigh around like 200 megabytes, which is fine if you're on a Wi-Fi and if you're like in a European country. But in Tajikistan, again, the internet speed is so low. That's why we decided to do it like separately for each village. A person needs to download it.
Yeah, thanks for that, Aiganysh. That's fascinating. As you're talking, I'm clicking through the map here. So I guess this process that you've described eventually let you do cataloging, something like I think it was 418 buildings and 27 other facilities.
Almost 400 buildings.
Wow. Okay.
And we found that only 20 affected in Tajikistan.
Only 20 in Tajikistan, huh? We have a question from Eridis here. Eridis is asking, is Kyrgyzstan the only democratic country in the area? It's a flawed democracy, but still much freer than its neighbors. Would you say that's accurate, Aiganysh?
Relatively, yes. So compared to other Central Asian countries, definitely, because we have elections and it's not, we basically choose our president, but still it's not full democracy, because the presidents, they always want to get all the power to themselves. And so relatively, yes.
Relatively speaking, Geppetto says hello with a little dog emoji. Hi, Geppetto, thank you for coming. And Charlotte, our social media producer, hello, Charlotte. She's asking, Aiganysh, what do you wish was covered more by open source researchers in Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan, the border clashes, or in the region specifically?
I think what they've covered was already great. They've done lots of researches and investigation, but the problem was with how, because both Kyrgyz and Tajik people are very like nationalistic, I'd say, and this also counts for most of the journalists. So that's why, like, Kyrgyz journalists would publish this investigation, and then Tajik journalists would publish this counter investigation, and the bigger world really like had no idea who to believe in, because lots of people basically lost their objectivity, I'd say. And Adefievel was one of the, I think probably the only one who would focus on both sides. And for that, like, Kyrgyz people very like hated it on it a lot, that it got banned in Kyrgyzstan, and they're still struggling.
Yeah, okay, that's unfortunate. I guess that happens in lots of places, right? I can think also sort of in the Ukrainian context. We've even had a lot of people sort of coming after Eric Toller, our friend and colleague, whenever they've sort of perceived that maybe he was, I mean, I've seen people sort of accusing him of being anti-Ukrainian somehow for some tweet or something. So yeah, people get emotional about lots of stuff, including their countries, etc. So yeah, that's unfortunate. But thanks for that answer there, Aiganysh. Same with the Navalny film, says Erides. Yeah, so a lot of people got really upset when Navalny won the Oscar. A lot of people on the stream were really upset when I was showing when I was talking about it. But hey, it wasn't Navalny himself who won the Oscar. It was a movie about him. It was the director of the movie who won. I don't know if that helps out, but I just kind of made that. I just kind of made that distinction. It wasn't actually Alexei who, got this Oscar. It was a movie about him. So if that helps you, sleep at night, yeah, that's good. So Aiganysh, thank you so much for answering these questions. Is there anything else you want to say about your project or about anything else that you're working on? I don't know. What do you want to tell the people as we wrap up this section of the stream?
I guess, the first thing I want to tell you is, if you're trying to get onto research, don't be afraid to fail. I completely failed on my first project on Tajikistan-Kyrgyzstan, again 2 years ago, but I've learned so many lessons, so I was much more equipped to do this second project. Unfortunately, I do expect that there will be more border clashes happening between Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan, and I guess I'll definitely be focusing on that in the future, I guess when it happens, but in this case, we'll already have this map, we'll already have the tools, we'll already have the volunteers who are very interested in it. So for the next one, I would really hope to publish it actually earlier. So yeah.
Perfect. I mean, as you're saying, you've already built up this experience in putting together this project. So, if and when, as you're saying, unfortunately, these clashes restart, were they to restart in the future, as you just said, you have this experience already, so you can jump into the subject matter and into a project much more effectively and quickly. One last question, Aiganysh, from Erides. Erides is asking, when will you join the Discord server and talk to us more about Central Asia? He's asking.
I think we have one scheduled for tomorrow, right, Giancarlo?
Oh, yes. Okay, of course. Okay, so breaking news, folks. No, it's not tomorrow, Aiganysh. It's next week. You can do next week, right?
Yes, I can. Oh, I thought it was tomorrow.
No, I'm sorry. It's next week. Okay, so breaking news. Aiganysh is going to be giving a stage talk in the Discord server next week. Is it about this same topic? We haven't decided yet, but it could be about anything. But you can talk about this, yeah. So there's your answer, Erides. Aiganysh is going to be giving a Discord stage talk in the Bellingcat Discord server next week, talking about TBD, but probably something to do with this. So you can catch her there. I completely forgot. I'm behind on everything at work, and this is one of the things I'm behind on. So thanks for the reminder there, Aiganysh.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Aiganysh, you're free to hang out here if you want. You're free to go. What do you want to do? Do you want to...
I have to run, unfortunately.
Oh, yes, you have a meeting. Okay, you said you have a meeting. Okay, well, let's wrap this up formally then. Aiganysh Aidarbekova, thank you so much for coming. Researcher and trainer at Bellingcat. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for inviting, and talk to you on Discord.
See you later. Thanks, Aiganysh.
Bye-bye.
There we go. So Aiganysh Aidarbekova, researcher and trainer at Bellingcat, friend, all-around fantastic person, brilliant, and she was here. You just saw her. She was talking to us about this project. on the Kyrgyzstan-Tajikistan border clashes that we published back in May. So, let's keep going now. We got about an hour left. Friends in the chat, hello, first of all, to everybody there. I see Michael Coburn saying hi. Hi, Michael. Geppetto is saying, thank you, Aiganysh, for contributing to the stream. I will pass that on to Aiganysh if she didn't see it. We've got Gnosis40 saying, sweet, and waving hi, Gnosis40. Let's talk about more sort of open source research stuff. If I have gotten my timing correct, we can play Geoguessr in about 30 minutes. Let's see how long I go on for now, because I have a couple of things that I wanted to share with you. And let me begin by saying that I feel like the temperature is much more hospitable right now. I'm not in distress as I was last week at the 5 o'clock mark, which is the current time in Amsterdam. Feeling okay. I do have the towel here on standby, but I haven't had to use it yet. And I'm not feeling lightheaded or anything. So I think it's cooler now than it was last week. So that's really good news. As I mentioned earlier, if you have any questions about anything that I'm talking about at any point, just put them in the chat and I will try to answer them. The first thing that I wanted to show you was a new tool. And this is a tool that you can use in lots of different situations. Imagine that you're on Twitter or you're on Discord or you're on Facebook and you see a picture that someone shared and you go, I wonder if that picture is an AI generated image, if it was made by Midjourney or DALL-E or some other AI thing that some people made. And I want to know, is that an AI image or is it a real image? And I don't know how to tell. A year ago, it was relatively easy to tell if an image was generated by an AI program or if it was a real image. Now, in June 2023, it is very difficult to do so, and it's only going to get harder. So these people, I don't know who they are, but somebody made this website here. It's called AIorNot.com. And this is a website. I guess I should have read who made this. Let's read the documentation. Hey, it doesn't. There's no way to tell. There's no way to tell who made this because if you click on About Us, it takes us to this 404 page. So, made by an unknown entity. I guess Optic made it. Optic is an AI company solving trust and safety for digital content. I guess this is their website. So this is them. Okay, let's do that. This is them. So Optic is a company that does stuff around AI and detecting images. And so they've come up with this tool that's called AI or Not. And all it is a website where you have an image and you drop it in here and then it will tell you if it thinks that it's an AI image or not. So what I thought I would do for the stream is I got a bunch of images. Some of them are AI generated. Some of them are not AI generated, and we're gonna see how good the platform is. So I remember which ones are AI generated images. I remember which ones are not. So I'll tell you. We got a Unux Soup is saying it's finally a bit bearable here. Yes, I think by here you mean Amsterdam. I'm not complaining about the heat. So AJ says, Giancarlo, heat in Amsterdam is a blessing. Go for a swim in the Amstel. AJ, I love the heat. I'm not complaining about it. I love heat. I'm from Venezuela. I love the tropics. I love, even when I lived in Canada, I lived in Toronto. Toronto gets mad hot. I love it. I have a long-standing, let's just call it for what it is, a fight, a really angry fight with one of my colleagues who may be watching the stream. I'm not going to dox them, but you know who you are, about swimming in Amsterdam's canals. I understand that you can swim in them. I understand that people do swim in the canals and in the river, but I just cannot imagine myself swimming in a canal here. And I don't know if that's a me thing. Maybe we can get teams going in the chat. Who would jump in a canal in Amsterdam? Who wouldn't jump? Personally, look, I'm not going to judge anybody. If you tell me, look, I love swimming in the canals, hey, all the power to you. It is a free country. You should be able to do whatever you want to do. I would never jump in a canal. I see, there's camps forming already in the chat. Some people are pro-canal swimming. Other people are anti-canal swimming. AJ says, I do it every day and I've only had cold sores 4 times this year. That's probably a pretty good average. So, yeah, okay. That's a one plus for swimming in the canal. Before I show you the tool, I promise you I'm going to shut up about this and we are going to talk about the AI tool and other tools. I grew up in Toronto. So I grew up in Venezuela when I was 11. I moved to Canada with my family. And in Toronto, we've got Lake Ontario. But Lake Ontario is this giant lake. And people always joke about how it's dirty and you shouldn't swim in there. It's not dirty. It's really nice. And so I would happily, and I have done it, and I would hope to do it again one day. Again, I would go swimming in Lake Ontario, no problem. But a canal, I don't know. Still skeptical about canals. I know the science is out there and says canals are good. Shara is saying, I'm sure the canal is much cleaner than half the rivers and oceans in Britain. The last thing I'll say about this, folks, I'm sorry, I don't want to turn this into canal chat. I understand people are not watching this because they want to learn about canals. I've seen too many bikes, too many office chairs, too many like car doors get pulled out of canals for me to feel comfortable jumping in a canal, knowing that there's office chairs and bikes and car doors and other stuff, and toasters, whatever you want to call it. I know they're in there. I can't see them because the water's dirty. Sorry, it's brown. I don't know about dirty, but all right, that's the last thing I'll say. Let's move on. Let's leave the canal chat. Let's do this thing here. So this is the AI tool that I want to show you. So I got all these pictures here, and I'm going to drop them in here. We're going to find out together if AI or not works or not. Let's do that. So the first image is this one. So this is telling me this image was generated by AI. That is true. And I know that because I got this from Midjourney. So I want to say correct. So you can see with your own eyes, this image looks pretty realistic, but it's not a real person. It's not a real photograph that a person took with a camera. It was created by Midjourney. So let's say yes. Let's do another one. Do you have to go back? Ooh. Let's do this one. Dupe Monkey, thank you for following the channel. This image was generated by a human. It wasn't. This was an AI image. This is also from Midjourney. So we're batting 500 so far, which is not bad. But this is wrong. Reason. This was created by Midjourney. Let's go back. Let's do the next one. This is correct. So this is an AI image. Now, I don't know how this works. I don't know why it got this one, but not the one before, but this is AI. Again, I pulled this from Midjourney. So yes, let's do this one. This is, of course, a screenshot from Denis Villeneuve's Blade Runner 2049. It is not an AI image. That's Ryan Gosling there. And this is Blade Runner 2049. And this is, generated by a human. So it's not an AI image. That's good. So we are 3 for 4 right now. We're 3 for 4. Let's do this one. That's me. And so I'm not an AI. This image was not generated by an AI. This image was taken by a human photographer. So yes, correct. Gnosis40, thank you for following the channel. Let's do another picture here. We're doing pretty good. generated by a human. This is a screenshot from the 2018 science fiction Natalie Portman thriller Annihilation. One of my favorite movies. Also generated by human. So we are correct here. So far, we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's only made one mistake. Henziel and Seek Low. Thank you so much for following. Lotte Cat says, I love that movie too. It is so good. It is so good. Let's do another one. This image was generated by a human. It was not. I can certify that this is an image from Midjourney. So this is incorrect. So we are 5 for 7. Let's say no. This was made by Midjourney. Let's do number 9. This is correct. This is somebody made like it was like a phone wallpaper, I think was the prompt, like make a flowery wallpaper for my phone. And so I got this from Midjourney. Now, interesting. I don't know how it's picking, because this should be indistinguishable from a human, right? It's not a picture of a person that you can say, oh, the eyes are weird or they have 7 fingers or whatever. It's not a picture of a landscape where the architecture isn't correct. It's just a design. A human could easily make this, and so I don't know how it's picking up that it was an AI, but that's right. Let's do this one here. Okay. So interestingly, it thinks this is an AI image. And this isn't. This is the picture that I got from the internet. This is Seoul, South Korea. And these are real people. This is a street in Seoul. You can read the signs here in Hangul. One way to tell if an image was created by an AI, I know Midjourney does this. I don't know if DALL-E does this, but that any text will be like, it won't be human letters. It's like, it doesn't render, like, it doesn't create letters that are like intelligible. It just makes like shapes that kind of look like letters. So I wanted to maybe, I was thinking about like maybe tricking it with like the way that it's so colorful, and maybe with the letters. So somehow it thinks that this is an AI image. It's not. This is an actual image from Seoul. And then we've got a final one. So this is an image generated by an AI, and it is correct because I pulled it from Midjourney. So I forgot to keep score, but I think we were at, I think so we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, we did 10. How many did it get wrong? I think it got 3 wrong, right? So that's not too bad. That's better than average. So it's not like guessing. It's not flipping a coin and going AI, human, AI, human. It's doing some kind of, yeah, okay, 3 or 4. Okay, so people are saying 4. Okay, that's still better than average because we did 10. I don't know. Maybe somebody can write an article or do an investigation and get 100 images and run them through this and see what those stats look like. But in our very unscientific experiment that we just conducted here on Bellingcat Live on Twitch and YouTube, we got about 60% success rate, which is better than average, better than chance. AJ says there's some good coverage of this tool and others by the New York Times. Huh, well, thank you for that. I hadn't seen that. Let me pull that up here. Here we go. More than a dozen companies have popped up. Okay, yeah, so I'm not going to go through archive.today or whatever. But yeah, there's an article there. So thank you, AJ. Subtle Knife says, hey, we should get 100 photos of Trump versus 100 AI-generated Trump photos. That's a good idea. That's a fun weekend, I think. That sounds like a party of a weekend. Just nonstop AI and real Trump pictures. That sounds fun. TMSTN, thank you so much for following. So there you go. That's a tool, AI or not. Is it useful? Well, it did better than chance in our test here. So I would say experiment more with it, but know that it exists. All right. A cute bunny. Thank you for following the channel. I want to show you something else before we play Geoguessr in about 15 minutes. Milkmaid of Doom says, we've had issues in writing communities with readers putting book covers through this tool and then leaving 1-star reviews on books it says have used AI for the covers. Wow, that's really interesting. So people think, oh, okay, huh. So people are getting angry thinking that book publishers have created book covers using AI tools and they're leaving 1-star reviews on books. Wow, okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I remember Milkmaid of Doom, there was a controversy with Amnesty International. They used an AI image in the cover of a report that they published recently. And let's just say, the reaction was very negative. Everybody was, a lot of people were very angry with Amnesty International. Let's see if we can pull this up. This is back in May. Yeah, people were really angry because for some reason they used AI images in the cover. And if you want to read about that, there you go. It's in The Guardian. DJIK Flop says, kind of like college professors putting essays through AI detection tools, which wrongly say they were AI generated. Yeah, that happens as well. We are entering a really strange time in human history where we are increasingly testing the question of what's real, what's not real, what's fake, etc. Okay, let's move on. I have exciting news here because Forensic Architecture announced recently, in fact, yesterday, that they are publishing what they call the Investigative Toolkit, which is a new tutorial series breaking down techniques FA has developed and applied with its human rights investigations. Our first tutorial covers photo matching and Blender. This is extremely cool. If you don't know Forensic Architecture, stop watching the stream right now. Just shut off the stream. Close your browser, open a new browser, go to forensicarchitecture.com and read up about them because they are amazing. They're geniuses working out there. And they mix architecture and 3D modeling with human rights investigations. They're just the best of the best out there. And so what they're doing now, what they've just announced, which we're looking at right now, is this new series of videos that they have put out on YouTube exploring, or rather showing how they do their investigations. So the video's here. And this is Blender. So this is Forensic Architecture explaining how they use Blender, which is a free program that you can download to model and match photographs from events. This is the Beirut explosion. Let's see if we can listen to this really quick here for a few seconds. I'm going to mute the music.
To do this, we use the free open source software Blender. Images we can get from many sources. We like to try to use images with metadata. This is information about the image stored within the file. It can be anything from its location, to the camera, to the model of camera used to take the photograph, the focal length and other things. If we know these properties, it makes it much easier and faster for us to match the photograph. Now that I have the camera selected and active, what I'm going to do is the shortcut Control Alt and 0 on the number pad to snap the camera to my view. Now, if you don't have a number pad on your keyboard, this isn't possible, but you can move the camera manually or any other way. Just this is how it's easiest to do with a number pad.
There you go, folks, straight from the mouth of one of the people who works at Forensic Architecture. Again, one of the best, if not the best people out there doing this kind of work. If you ever wanted to know, hey, how does forensic architecture do it? How do they use Blender in these incredible investigations? Well, forensic architecture is answering that question with this video series. So there you go. If you didn't know about them, now you do. Look them up. They do incredible work. And they have these resources out there now. So you can learn how to use Blender. Hey, maybe it's a summer project. Maybe you got some free time this summer and you want to learn a new skill. Why not Blender for human rights investigations? So there you go. That's the second thing I wanted to show you. I see Michael Sheldon's here. Hello, Michael. Good to see you. Michael, of course, one of my brilliant colleagues at Bellingcat. Michael says, I watched this yesterday. It was super cool. He says, I'm surprised that they don't use FSPy or FSPy. I'll have to check out their plugins. Yeah, Michael Sheldon is, again, brilliant. Anything to do with satellite imagery, I feel like Michael's the guy to go to for that. Unoriginal guy too. I love the name. Thanks for following the channel. I want to show you, oh, so this is, okay, I want to show this other thing. So I'm looking at my notes here. So I think I mentioned a couple of times in previous streams that I have been working, I have a couple of ideas for articles that I'm working on. One of them is an overview of Bellingcat's ethical ethics committee. So internally, we have an ethics committee. We run into ethical issues all the time. And so we have an internal committee made up of my colleagues, and they decide what we should do whenever we come across an ethical dilemma. For example, we may have found a video on YouTube that shows something like an airstrike in Ukraine. We want to use the video in our investigation, but we think that if we publish the video in the investigation, even though it's on YouTube, the person who recorded it might get in trouble with the authorities in Ukraine. I'm giving you a completely fictitious example. So what would we do in this situation? Do we use the video? Maybe it reveals something really important and maybe get the person in trouble, or do we not use the video? So we don't reveal the important piece of information, but the person remains safe. It's not the best example, but just an example of an ethical dilemma that we might come across. So we have an ethics committee, and then they decide, they deliberate, they make decisions. So I'm working an article kind of showing how that works. And Gray Syndicate, thank you so much for following the channel. And I'm also working on another article, and I talked about this in our Discord server, which you can join by going to, by downloading Discord, and then going to discord.gg/Bellingcat. I was talking about something that has been bugging me for a long time, and it's the use of the term OSINT. So I'm writing an article arguing that Bellingcat has never done OSINT ever, and nobody who works at Bellingcat has ever done OSINT. And the New York Times doesn't do OSINT, and BBC Africa Eye does not do OSINT. In fact, nobody is doing OSINT. And the reason for that, I have a couple of reasons that I'm kind of working through and laying out in this article. But the reason for that, the main reason is that OSINT is something else. OSINT isn't what we're doing. I've been thinking about this for a long time. But a couple of days ago, somebody published an article that is directly relevant to this. It's by an individual named Ludo Block. He is I think he's with the University of Leiden. He's an instructor. Here's his Twitter account. And Ludo published an article talking about, the name of the article is The Long History of OSINT, and it's an open source academic peer-reviewed article. So this is something that was published in a peer-reviewed article. And it's the Journal of Intelligence History. So the article is covering the history of intelligence, of open source intelligence. And in the article, he talks about how, so he says, what is OSINT? Okay, so essentially he says, a lot of people think that OSINT began after World War II, but really governments were doing OSINT before World War II. That's the gist of the article. And so in writing this article, he provides a definition of OSINT that I think is pretty succinct and worth thinking about for the argument that I made previously. So he says, for the purposes of this research, OSINT is thus defined as the methodical collection and exploitation of information from publicly available sources to fulfill an intelligence requirement. And this is the part that I'm zooming in on, because OSINT is part of the intelligence cycle, and OSINT is carried out by intelligence agencies to fulfill an intelligence requirement. So OSINT is one of the ingredients that could potentially produce intelligence. Okay, like an intelligence report at the CIA, an intelligence report at MI6 or whatever. And so we don't do this. This isn't what we're doing. We've never done this. The New York Times has never done this. Forensic Architecture has never done this. And nobody on Twitter who says that they do OSINT is doing this unless they are working for the CIA, right? So this is why I'm thinking about, I have a draft of the article. The article's arguing Bellingcat has never done OSINT because OSINT is the wrong term, has always been the wrong term to describe what it is that we're doing. And so, Jimmy's saying, is this why Elliot's book changed his title from We Are Bellingcat, an intelligence agency for the people, to We Are Bellingcat, global crime, online sleuths, and the bold future of news? Hi, Jimmy. I don't know. So as far as I know, the title, like that kind of stuff, is not picked by Elliot. I think the publisher is the one who picks that. I know Elliot tends to not use OSINT, and in fact, if you read the book, he references OSINT, I think, once, but then he makes clear what we're doing is kind of like OSINT, but we're doing open source digital investigations, I think is what he calls them. And if you listen to Elliot speak, he doesn't lean into the term. I've used it in the past because it's a really good hashtag, but really, again, what I'm arguing in this article is that it was never, from day one, it was not the right word to describe what we're doing. And so I have a couple of other arguments that I'm thinking through, but the foundational argument, again, of this article is that Bellingcat has never done OSINT because OSINT was never the correct word to describe what we're doing. Jimmy says, I don't think anyone in our community uses it. Everyone seems to use open source research. Yes. When was the phrase OSINT first used, says Jane Nava. So Jane, as far as I know, it was first used, it was coined in a report that was written in the United States by an intelligence agency in the 1990s. Is the earliest mention of the term that I can find. And they were talking specifically about when we're producing intelligence, we're using human intelligence, we're using geospatial intelligence, we're using open source intel, and so they call that OSINT. And again, this is I could be wrong, but the earliest reference that I've ever found is in the early 1990s. I think it was 92, in essentially an intelligence document from some agency in the United States. And so we've got a long comment here from Dan Don 313. Yes, okay, so there we go. Oh, this is from Wikipedia. Yeah, 1990, Robert Steele, more prominently a special issue of the American Intelligence Journal in 1983. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. Thank you, Dan Don. Yeah, a special issue of the American Intelligence Journal in 1993. That's what I was thinking about. 1993. And so, yeah, so that's the other thing I'm working on. I'm working on the ethics piece, which is basically done, and then now I'm writing this other piece, again, making this argument. The reason why I kind of wanted to pick up the topic, because I've been thinking about it for a while, and then I was like, I don't want to write that. It sounds like an op-ed. I don't know. I don't want to like rain on people's parades. But not to rain on anybody's parade, not to be, I'm not coming down on anybody. I'm not judging you if you use OSINT. I've said OSINT a lot of times before. But we get a lot of folks in our Discord server who join. And by the way, you can join our Discord server by clicking here. And a lot of people say, hey, I love OSINT, and so I'm joining the server because I want to learn OSINT and I want to do OSINT. And again, I'm not coming down on people, but whenever I read that, I go, oh, actually, that's not what we're doing. And so that kind of, that experience of seeing people join the server saying, I love OSINT, let's do OSINT together, kind of reinvigorated me and kind of got me to think about, okay, maybe I should publish this or try to publish this, because again, I don't think it's the right word. I think it's the wrong word. It's like saying Bellingcat does poetry. We don't. We never have. Poetry is one thing. What Bellingcat does is another thing. So it's the same thing. Bellingcat does OSINT. No, we don't. We've never done OSINT. We do something else. SMK MRZ says, I've been wondering about this a lot. This is just a matter of semantics and considering intelligence as that which is geared towards the eventual production of a report. Isn't intelligence as information about something? Is this because we don't want to be too closely associated with intel communities? So it's just not the right, we're doing research. We're doing research online. So I don't understand why we need to come up with another term to describe something that already has a perfectly understandable name. Research. I don't understand what. Now, I do kind of understand it because, again, I'm not coming down on anybody. Step Solitaire says, OSINT has a cool factor to it. It does, and I think that's why people gravitate to it. That's one of the reasons why people gravitate to it, and that's the wrong reason to gravitate to something, because it seems cool. Isn't it cooler to go, we're not going to do what all the cool people are doing because everyone's doing it? Isn't that the true coolness? Isn't true coolness one's ability to say, I'm not going to do what everyone else is doing because I think it's cool? How's that for a question? If you can't tell from my growing inability to make sense, I'm now getting really hot. I'm increasingly sweaty. It's now very hot in my room. Okay. Yeah, OSINT's not cool anymore. Yeah, there you go, Jane. All right, well, that's it. And the last thing I wanted to show you really quickly is that Oryx is leaving. I feel like this has been on the internet for a while now, at least a couple of days. I'm just rehashing old news, but Oryx, who is really a key figure, I think, in the open source research community online, he said a couple of days ago that he is ending his saga on October 1st. Oryx is just a fantastic researcher, and he's the person who was like counting how many tanks had been destroyed in Ukraine. And so he's quitting. And if you are thinking, hey, yeah, I knew this 2 days ago when this happened initially, I'm sorry. But you know, we do the stream once a week, so I gotta collect news all week and then talk about that. Lotte says, canal dive time. You know what? I was talking down on jumping in a canal earlier, but I'm getting hot enough that actually that's looking quite tempting at the moment. Acute Bunny says, someone turned up the sun to 11. Yes. Yeah, it's coming in real hot. She's coming in real hot right now. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to, I need to go to the washroom because I've been drinking a lot of water. Let's play Geoguessr. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna invite you to Geoguessr. If you are running cheats on Geoguessr, if you have aimbots or you know, whatever you want to call them on your Geoguessr account, delete them. You know, do all control delete. Stop the aimbot process. Stop the hack process. Please, no cheating on Geoguessr here. We're doing this for fun. I'm going to go ahead and click invite. You can play with me and the chat by clicking there. I see some people are joining there. Michael's here. Excellent. Acute Bunny's here. Salanska. Hi, Salanska. Good to see you. I'm going to run to the washroom. I'll be back in 30 seconds. Let me put on the BRB screen. I'll be right back. I will be right back. Hang on one second. Okay, I am back. And folks, let me just tell you, I went out of my room and it is like 10 degrees colder in the other room than it is here. So it's a combination of the sun's rays, heat radiation from the sun entering my room through this big window, and the ring light and the computer pumping hot air into my room that is causing this room to feel, at least I would say, 10 degrees hotter than the rest of this building. So Director Interneta's here, and that reminds me that we have a leaderboard for Geoguessr. So here's the leaderboard, and the leaderboard, I explained it incorrectly last time. The leaderboard is a high score. So whenever we finish a round of Geoguessr, we see who got the highest score, and so the current champion of Geoguessr is I'm going to show it, and so it's Shar saying, I hope the music is lower. I didn't have a chance to add the music this time, so you shouldn't hear it at all, but let me just mute it just in case. So here we go. That's the leaderboard, and so Director Interneta is the current champion because he had the highest score of anybody who's ever played Geoguessr here on the stream. So let's watch that again. Let's do that again. So we've got Director Interneta, and then we've got Jimbo is second, Florian, and then Subtle Knife is in fourth, Subtle Knife, and then Melon is in fifth. So let's see if we can get on the leaderboard is what we want to do. All right. It's not for last week, it's for all time. So we're not going by who won last week. We're going for who has the highest scores ever. It's like an arcade machine. So let's go and play a Geoguessr. Yes, total high score, Eridus, yeah. So good luck. Let's see if we can get a really high score here. No cheating. You can, I'm just seeing if, I'm seeing who's in here. Any suspected cheaters in here? No, I don't see any suspected cheaters. I think you're all good. Okay. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say, yes, you can scroll. You can zoom in and out, okay? You can spin around, but you cannot Google. So don't Google. If you see a phone number, if you see a building that says whatever pizza, don't Google that, okay? Because that's cheating. So no cheating. Let me change the settings. We play 1 minute rounds. Okay, let's do this. Good luck, everybody. Okay. Yes, I had a gut instinct that was confirmed by this graffiti because, oh yeah, see a beetle here. This reminds me of the street where my grandmother used to live when I was growing up. See a taxi here with a very good hint. Jehovah's Witness temple, or yeah, temple. All right. So I guessed dead on Mexico City. I just kind of guessed the center of it. It sort of looked like Latin America. Then I saw some graffiti that said private property in Spanish, propiedad privada, and then I saw a taxi that said CDMX. CDMX means Ciudad de Mexico, so that's what that was. Eridus said there was a Mexico flag. I didn't see the flag. And then I said, it's got to be Mexico City. I guess somewhere in the middle. I was kind of close. Eridus came in first place there with 4,987 points. I was in second. A Cute Bunny came in third. Then we had Subtle Knife in fourth. And Thomas B. Hello, Thomas B. in fifth place. So let's go to round number 2 and see what happens. Mexican electricity poles. A Cute Bunny. That Meta, I don't know anything about the Meta. I don't know what a Mexican electricity pole looks like, how it's different from a Nicaraguan one or a Guatemalan. I don't know the difference. It sounds like you do. and I'm scared because you're probably going to win. So let's see. Let's see what happens. Got a language there that I recognize. We got a fried chicken place. Huh. Well, I'm oh, God. I'm confused. I gotta go. Oh, my goodness. So this language, I'm pretty sure I know, but this doesn't look like... Okay, yeah. So initially I thought Japan, just because I was wrong, but I know Korean I can recognize immediately. Japanese I think I can recognize pretty well, so I thought that was Japanese. I thought I saw some Japanese characters, but it wasn't. And then I saw a thing that said Taiwan. So congratulations to Made in Estonia, who got it almost dead on. Congratulations there. I should have guessed center of the island, but I don't know. I went Taipei. So there we got Made in Estonia in first place with a near perfect score. We had Sarah Lot. Hello, Sarah L. Jurassic is here. Hello, Jurassic in third place. GeoLearner came in fourth, and Here for the Fun came in fifth. So really well done there. Total standings have been completely... what's the word? Upended here. We got Made in Estonia in first, GeoLearner in second, Erudes in third, and myself in fourth. Let's go to round number 3. Good luck, everybody, as we head into the third round. Is that a hockey stick? This is is it? Oh no, he's collecting sticks. Huh. Thought it was a hockey stick. School zone. 40. That's miles? Refuge Island. So I guess New Zealand, it was Australia, it was Canberra. Sarah, ooh. Sarah L. Sarah L. Did you grow up on the street? Sarah L guessed like dead on. We also have Furba guessing really closely. Congratulations there, Furba as well. And IntelliBeats was really close as well. AJ came in fourth and Made in Estonia. Sarah L, reveal your secrets to us, please. How did you know? Do not be shy, Sarah. I know you're in the chat. Please tell us how you knew that. I didn't. I obviously didn't. I guess New Zealand. I was wrong. Michael says, I am a failure. Michael, you're not a failure. Don't say that. You're a good man, Michael. And sometimes you do well in Geoguessr, sometimes you don't. Sarah says she recognized a district in Canberra. Where is Sarah saying this? On the Discord? Sarah, get in the chat. What are you doing? Oh, privately. Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Sarah. Sarah used to work there. Oh, she doesn't have a Twitch account. Okay. Oh, that's fine. Great. So congratulations, everybody. We've got now Made in Estonia retains the lead. We've got Erudes in second place, Jurassic in third, Acute Bunny in fourth place, and myself in fifth. Let's go to round number 4 and see what happens. Round number 4, we are in a place that looks real nice. Looks like there's some water here. Oh, I know this language. I recognize this language. I feel like Michael Colborn. Michael Colborn, this is your time to shine. I feel like we're closer to your neck of the woods here. Wow, this is gorgeous. Can you imagine living here? Like, where do you live? Can you show me a picture of your house? Yeah, I live here. Huh. Wow. Well, I should have just stuck around with that sign because the sign said the name of the place. And I don't know why I started clicking away. Just going to go down here somewhere. I don't know. I guessed Greece because I saw Greek, and it was. And a lot of people guessed Greece, so congratulations there. We have Asian invasion. Guessed really close, so congratulations. Lord Char got a pretty good guess as well. Here for the fun also, and Phineas came in 4th. And Director Interneta is in 5th place. Greece is the most out of the loop for me, is what Michael says. Yeah, I thought I saw Greek and I thought, oh, is that like Albania or something, like around there? And then it wasn't. So AJ says, Cephalonia, where Captain Corelli's mandolin was set. Captain Corelli's mandolin, of course. Nicolas Cage film of that name. So kudos to Nicolas Cage on a long and successful career. I just saw a Nicolas Cage movie recently. It was called... it was the one where he was Dracula. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? A Nicolas Cage film where he plays Dracula. It's called... No, Renfield. Yes, Renfield. Thank you, Dupe Monkey. Yeah. Yeah. Folks, let's do round number 5 and see who will win. Will Made in Estonia remain in first place? Or will Eredes come from behind and claim the crown? Or will Active Bunny upset the top 2 and be crowned victor? Will I do better than 5th place? Let's find out. If you're gonna choke, don't choke now, because it is round 5. It is time for clutch moves. It's time for clutch guesses. It's not time for choking. My heart is beating. Rapidly. I'm nervous. But I think I got the country. I guessed Belgium because I saw a Belgian flag and a lot of people got the town. I was looking for the name of the town. I think Izegem, yeah. Never heard of the place, but a lot of folks had. And before we see who won, oh my gosh, Made in Estonia with a dead-on guess. My goodness, Made in Estonia with a 5,000 perfect guess. My goodness, we had Eredes in 2nd place there. We had Seralot in 3rd. It was on the sign. Yes, it said on the sign I saw Izegem. I was looking for it, and I couldn't find it. But I'll tell you who did find it. Made in Estonia found it, and Eredes found it, and Seralot found it, and JK found it as well. So, congratulations, everybody. Let's see what happens when I click Finish Game. We have Made in Estonia with 23,000 points. Eridus in second place with 22,000 points. Then we've got AQ to Bunny with 19,000 points in third place. Congratulations. GG's to everybody who played here. Sarah L in third place. Made in Estonia had so much fun winning that they decided to follow the channel. Thank you, Made in Estonia, for following. Then I was in fifth with 19,000. I like to get over 20,000. 19,000 is not great. I did throw that round about Australia and New Zealand. Jurassic was in sixth. Furba was in seventh. AJ came in eighth. Subtle Knife, wonderful person and great moderator of our Discord server, was in ninth place. And then Michael Coburn came in 10th. And everyone else is here. You can see your name. We see Willie D here. Hi, Willie D. Phineas is here. Hello. Lord Char, everybody. Zelenska. Thomas B. So many friends. If you came in last, no problem. I hope you had fun, and I hope you learned. And if you came in first, congratulations again. So is that a new high score? Let's see. Yes, by about 200 points. That's the new high score. So congratulations there. We're going to play that video next week, and hopefully we'll have sound, because hopefully we'll have had time to add the sound. But there we go. Well done, everybody. I had a lot of fun here. Bad Birdie says, I couldn't guess until the last game. Ooh, yeah, that happens sometimes. Carla says, I got 0 points. I need to practice for speed play. Yes. So we do the 1 minute rounds. That's how we play here on the Bellingcat Twitch channel. Also on YouTube, I guess. And so practice makes perfect, for sure. We don't have time to do another round. Usually we do 2 rounds, but I think the last couple of weeks I've talked a lot. And, today we had Aiganysh joining us, and, I showed you a couple tools, so we don't quite have time to do a second round. So let's call it here. I do want to do a couple of commercials because I had to go to the bathroom earlier when I would have done the commercials, which is when we're loading up Geoguessr. So I want to say first of all, again, congratulations to everybody who played just now. If you want to contribute to Bellingcat, if you say, hey, you know what, this is so cool, Bellingcat is doing cool research, you have the stream where you're teaching people about open source research and you're having fun with them, and you have a cool Discord community, well, you can support us in many different ways. You can join the Bellingcat Discord server, which is in the chat there. Eridus is playing for the is asking for the leaderboard again. There's the leaderboard, and here it is. If you want to take a screenshot on Geoguessr, okay. So you can join our Discord server, hang out in there. It's full of really cool people. If you have questions about research, if you want help with a research project that you may be working on, maybe you're a journalist somewhere and you want to know the latest skills, the latest tools, you can join the Discord server and do that. You can also support us by going on Patreon and joining our Patreon, because we have a Patreon. And if you join at this level, the €8 per month level, you get access to Bellingcat Premium, which is a podcast, a monthly podcast that we produce in-house and put out every month. One of our editors will sit down with a Bellingcat researcher and ask them questions about a project that they've been working on. And so if you can subscribe at that level, you get access to that podcast every month. And I think you get access to, oh no, that's at the higher tier. If you join for €14 a month, you get access to our workshops priority. So you find out about the workshops first. So if you've ever wanted to get into a workshop, maybe you want to subscribe at this level for a couple of months so that when we announce the next round of public workshops, you get in right away. And then what else can you do? Oh, you can also just go on PayPal and send us money also. Bellingcat is a nonprofit organization. So we're not working for a profit. And what else should I say? Oh, and if you live in the Netherlands, I think you can write off a donation to Bellingcat from your taxes. Don't quote me on that. I'm not a lawyer and I'm not good with finances. So maybe check before you donate. Anyways, friends, thank you so much for spending your afternoon here with me these last hour and a half. I had a lot of fun. Subtle Knife says, yes, it's registered. We are a stichting, which is a Dutch word that I cannot pronounce, but it's a foundation. Oh yes, and we publish our financial stuff. Yeah, so let me show you that before I finish. So every year we publish our financial accounts. What we call our annual accounts. So they are audited every year. If you ever meet somebody who says, "Well, Bellingcat, who's funding Bellingcat? How do we know?" We know because we're telling you. So if you go to funding, our funding page, there's a section here and it says annual accounts for 2022. So every year we publish our annual accounts for the previous year. Yesterday we published our annual accounts for 2022. And if you click on this document, it's a report from an auditor. In this case, it's Baker Tilly. This is an independent auditor, and they go through all of our books and they check all of our finances, and you can read like every cent that came into Bellingcat, who sent it to us, how did it come in, how much money are we spending on salaries, etc. So you can read all that stuff. So if anybody ever says, "Oh, Bellingcat, who's funding them?" Really simple answer. It's right on our website. So let me go back to bellingcat.com here. We've got Gnosis saying, "I'm really looking forward to your next live chat, and I saw your funding breakdown that Elliot tweeted earlier today." Well, thank you for that, Gnosis. I will see you next week because I will be doing this next week. And so until then, I wish everybody a great week. I will be back here next Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. Central European Summertime. So until then, have a great week. Take care of each other and take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next week.